Alrighty, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to the unbelievable story of Tupac's All Eyes on Me. This should be interesting. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Big yeah. Y'all know how this shit go, you know. All eyes on me. I won't deny you. I'm a straight rider. You don't wanna fuck with me. Got the police busting at me.
The story of All Eyes on Me starts in October of 1995 when Tupac got bailed from the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York. He was locked up for 9 months for a sexual assault case. Atlantic Records, Interscope Records, and the balance of a couple $100,000 was posted in the form of a bail bond. According to the New York Times, the appeals court decision allowed Tupac to be freed pending his appeal with bail at $1.4 million. Now, from what I've seen from multiple different sources, is that Tupac was never officially signed to Death Row Records. He was still with Interscope Records, who distributed Death Row Records. The chairman of Interscope Records at the time, Jimmy Iovine, said that Time Warner is the reason the record label didn't allow them to bail out Tupac. Because of this, they advanced Death Row the money and then Death Row bailed out Tupac. While Pac was locked up, he became the first artist to have a #1 album on the Billboard 200 charts while being incarcerated. This was his Me Against the World album, which released in May of 1995, months earlier. According to the RIAA, the album went double platinum by December of that year.
Damn.
Even with the success of this album, it's believed that Interscope's hands were tied due to what Tupac was locked up for and the controversy behind gangster rap at the time. An interesting thing to note is that in September of 1995, Time Warner unloaded its $115 million stake in Interscope Records. Time Warner executives denied that the firm was bowing to political pressure. They blamed the split on contractual provisions that prevented the company from monitoring the content of Interscope's recording.
Man, just say it, man. Rap music was making y'all look bad. Y'all was getting bad press for it. We didn't want to deal with it no more. Tupac was doing too much. Death Row was doing too much. We good. We ain't finna deal with this. We gonna stick to the party rap. But then again, Time Warner no longer exists, so
Whether you believe this is up to you, because rap, especially gangster rap, was under heavy scrutiny in the media, with there being many anti-rap campaigns in those days. Tupac infamously feuded with C. Dolores Tucker, who opposed gangster rap music. But whether Tupac was actually signed to Death Row or not has been in question, but we do know that he was heavily affiliated with the label. With Tupac being released, it's reported that upon touching down in California, he ate and went directly to Can-Am Recorders, which was a studio that Death Row essentially called home. Before getting into the album though, I would quickly like to plug that I made a TikTok that you guys should definitely go follow. I'll be posting content on there. I'm trying to get that popping, so definitely go out and support that. And if you haven't already done it yet, go follow my Instagram too. That would be greatly appreciated. You guys can always reach out and just show me some love. It's all good. Make sure to comment on what it was like for you in 1996 when this album came out and what your reaction was when you first heard it. How has it impacted you also?
Nigga, I was 2 years old.
After Tupac's death, his work ethic was unmatched. He hastily worked and constantly pumped out songs, so much to the point that he completed All Eyes on Me in just 2 weeks. In an interview about the making of the album, Nate Dogg, who features on it, stated that one of the reasons for this was because Tupac did not want to be on Death Row Records. Nate Dogg said that Tupac had a 3-album deal and he wanted out of it immediately. Tupac posthumously completed this deal due to All Eyes on Me being a double album and the Don Illuminati The 7 Day Theory releasing after his death.
Damn.
This is although Don Illuminati was originally meant to be a mixtape and One Nation was intended to complete his deal with Death Row. His second posthumous album, Are You Still Down? Remember Me, had no affiliation with Death Row Records. Other posthumous albums down the line did involve Death Row though. All Eyes on Me originally wasn't going to be the album's title. When I Get Free was an album he conceptualized while being locked up, but Supreme Euthanasia and Euthanasia were working titles once he got to Death Row Records. At first, it was Supreme Euthanasia, then the title just got dropped to Euthanasia. By definition, euthanasia is the practice of ending the life of a patient to limit the patient's suffering. The word euthanasia itself comes from the Greek word eu, meaning good, and thanatos, meaning death. Euthanasia is a word that Tupac created by combining the words euphoria and euthanasia. The name reportedly represents the ultimate freedom of personal choice. But in a 1996 interview with Vibe magazine, Tupac was asked about why he liked the actual word euthanasia, and he said that he fell in love with the word. When he died, he did not want to feel any pain. Now, the euthanasia album thing is a giant rabbit hole. It's estimated that there are over 30 handwritten track lists for the album. Some tracks are from when Tupac was in jail, and others are from when he got out.
Damn.
I'll be showing some of the track list and drafts on screen. Feel free to pause and read if you would like. What remains clear is that Pac intended for his next album, After Me Against the World, to be a double album. You can see it by looking at the drafts. Most of the drafts are dated, with the one on screen being dated in September of 1995, with plans to release the album on March 1st of 1996. Another one is dated in October of 1995, with the same plans of releasing the album in March of 1996. Like I said, there are a lot of these. I'll put a link in the description to some videos that fully break down the euthanasia part of the backstory for the album. They're very insightful and definitely what you're looking for. Handwritten track lists for All Eyez on Me do exist though. I could only manage to find a couple, but looking at the one on screen, things mostly look normal. A lot of the tracks listed appear on the final version of the album, albeit in a different order. The first difference you can spot is the inclusion of the track Can't Fade Me on Book 2, Side 1. This track has Jewel on the hook, while Castro and Napoleon of the Outlaws each have a verse. Johnny J, Tupac's main producer during the making of All Eyez on Me, produced the track.
Hold up, baby, when you get off thinking you can fade me. Evade my niggas like rabies and then attempt to play me. Oh yeah, you crazy thing.
On this particular track list, Can't Fade Me replaced the track Blunt Time. This is an unreleased track that featured The Lady of Rage and Method Man. My Baby's Mama was another track that appeared on this particular track list, and it's another unreleased song. What's known about it is that it features Gaddafi of the Outlaws and is produced by Johnny J. Only the instrumental of the song has leaked. Handwritten lyrics of the song have surfaced, so we do know what Pac had in mind for the song. Some people have tried to use AI on the song to recreate it, but I won't be previewing that on this channel.
Because you know what's gonna happen.
The song was destroyed in the 2008 Universal Studios fire, but this remains a theory for now. To My Unborn is the original version of the track Letter to My Unborn, which appears on Tupac's 2001 posthumous album Until the End of Time. The song features Natasha Walker, while Johnny J produced the original version of the song. The track is mentioned on multiple drafts for All Eyez on Me.
Ever since my birth, I've been cursed since I'm born to wild. In case I never get to holler at my unborn child. Many things learned in prison, blessed to still living.
I can definitely see this song fitting on All Eyez on Me. I think both versions of the song are great, but I do prefer the sample of the original version. I'm partially biased though because I'm a
And I think this could have did well on All Eyez on Me or fucking the Machiavelli album. It could have landed on either or.
huge fan of Roger Troutman and Zapp. Fair Exchange is a song that appears on Tupac's 2002 posthumous album Better Days. Both versions of the song that appear on the album are remixes. The original version of the song was once planned for All Eyez on Me. It featured Tyrone Rice and Capuchin Jackson.
Fair exchange, ain't no robbery. Everything's legal, baby. Everything's legal. A picture of perfection. The object of a nigga affection. Partners of passion and sex. A place to put my record.
Apparently, Tupac and Johnny J did not like the song. I personally think the original version of their exchange is great, but I don't know if it should have been on All Eyez on Me. That's just my opinion though. Late Night is a song that first officially appeared on the compilation album Still Smokin' Chronic 2000, then appeared on his posthumous album Better Days. The version of the song that appears on those projects features DJ Quick, who produced the track, and the Outlaws. The original version of the song featuring AMG and DJ Quick was initially considered for All Eyez on Me. In an interview, DJ Quick stated that the sample of the song did not get cleared, so this is most likely why the song did not make the cut. Till I See LA.
That was a very questionable bar. Hold up, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. That was a questionable ass bar. My nigga DJ Quick in this bitch, so I let my nuts hang. What the fuck?
Hey yo, hey yo.
That's a questionable bar.
It is a song concept that is mentioned in drafts of Euthanasia, All Eyez on Me, and other drafts. Every time it's mentioned on a draft, there seems to be different people featured on the track. One has Snoop Dogg, Corrupt, and Nate Dogg, while another has Dr. Dre, The Lady of Rage, and Corrupt. Coolio is even mentioned as a feature on a version of the song with Ice Cube. Castro of the Outlaws has mentioned in an interview that the song evolved into the song To Live and Die in LA, which appeared on Pac's posthumous album The Don Illuminati, The 7 Day Theory, under his alias Machiavelli. Secrets of War is a Johnny J produced track featuring the Outlaws that has 3 versions. The original was planned for All Eyez on Me, the Rules version, and a remixed version that's found on Tupac's posthumous 1998 collab album with the Outlaws, Still I Rise. I think the Rules version of the song is probably the best, but the original is just as good. Both are way better than the version that appears on Still I Rise. Come With Me Interlude is another track mentioned on drafts for All Eyez on Me. It featured Danny Boy and was produced by Johnny J. Earlier I mentioned that When I Get Free was a potential title for Tupac's next album after Me Against the World. Well, When I Get Free was also a song that could have potentially made the album due to being mentioned in drafts. A version of the song appeared on Until the End of Time.
Some time locked down, but I'm back on the streets. Let me trouble when they see me. When I get free.
I don't think this version is bad, but the Johnny J remix is the best version though. The original isn't that bad either. On the Are You Still Down album, another version of the song is included. It's a sequel to the song Soldier Story, which appears on his 1991 album Tupacalypse Now. Soon As I Get Home is a leftover track from the All Eyez on Me sessions. The song features Gaddafi and was produced by QD3. The original version didn't officially release until the release of Tupac's 2006 posthumous album Pac's Life. The producer of the song, QD3, mentioned that the version on Pac's album is actually a rough mix because he never got a chance to complete the song due to the masters being lost. Outlaw Immortals is another track featuring the Outlaws with the inclusion of Big Psych that was planned for All Eyez on Me. This track was produced by Sam Snead. There are different mixes and remixes of this song online, but I'll show you the original.
Give me my money and stacks and lace my bitches with gun figures. Real niggas fingers on nickel plated non-triggers. Want to see my enemies defeated.
Tupac reused part of his verse for the song Can't See Me, which ended up on the final version of All Eyez on Me. Court in the Streets is a track that's mentioned on drafts for All Eyez on Me, but it was never recorded. The rap group OFTB was a planned feature, but they ended up recording another song with Tupac. A song that did get recorded during the making of All Eyez on Me is Better Days. There are multiple versions of the song produced by Johnny J, with there being a solo version, remixed version that appears on Tupac's 2002 posthumous album Better Days, and one with Big Psych and OFTB. I think all versions of the song are pretty good, especially the remixed version that appears on Better Days. By far, the most popular version of the song is the solo version with just Tupac.
Time to question our lifestyle, look how we live. Smoking weed like it ain't no thing. So even kids wanna try now, then lie down.
The members of OFTB reportedly liked the song so much that Tupac gave it to them before it ended up being remixed. The first single that Tupac released while on death row was California Love.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, fiending for money and alcohol.
The song topped the Billboard Hot 100, and as of today, it's double platinum with How Do You Want It. The original song did not make the final cut of the standard version of All Eyez on Me. The remix made it instead. If you want to know more about the song California Love, I have a whole video on my channel breaking down the history behind it. The album All Eyez on Me was released in February of 1996. It topped the Billboard 200, selling 566,000 copies in its first week. As of 2014, the album is diamond, meaning that it has sold over 10 million records. It's really 5 million, but since it's a double album, it counts as 2 instead of 1. In an interview with Vibe magazine in 1996, Tupac revealed the meaning of All Eyez on Me. He titled the album that because he felt that everyone was looking at him. The police, his enemies, the media, his fans, etc. In this same interview, Tupac describes the album as relentless and uncensored. He talked about people complaining to him that his previous albums sounded like he was dying, with him mentioning Me Against the World. He said that he made an album like Me Against the World so he could make an album like All Eyez on Me. Another huge inspiration behind the album was that while Tupac was in jail, he was originally going to get out of the music business. He has spoken about this in interviews. He was going through a lot at the time with the case, the shooting, and various other troubles in his life. He just wanted to leave the industry behind. This was until the August 1995 edition of Vibe magazine was released. Biggie, Diddy, and various other people connected to the 1994 Quad Studio shooting were interviewed about the situation. This interview came about in response to what Tupac said about the incident on the April 1995 edition of Vibe magazine. Tupac did not like what Biggie and Diddy said in their Vibe article because he felt like they twisted the facts of the story. This infuriated Tupac, and it lit a fire in him to not quit rap because he wanted to come back with a vengeance. This was the energy that Tupac put into the making of All Eyez on Me once he was released just 2 months after the Vibe magazine article in August. Nonetheless, in the second part of the video, I'll break down the album track by track. Don't forget to put in the comments some of your favorite tracks.
They got me stressed out on death row. I seen money, but baby, I got to get more. You feel me? Go to pop, and I ain't stopping till I'm well paid.
The album starts with the track Ambitions as a Writer. It's a classic track that opens up this phenomenal album. The song was produced by Daz Dillinger. According to Daz, this was the first song that Pac did when he got to death row. He had 5 songs already ready with hooks and everything. After hearing the beat, Tupac liked it and recorded the song, taking inspiration from part of Snoop Dogg's verse on the song Stranded on Death Row.
I'm not flagging, but I'm just sagging. I bet you don't want to see the deal double G.
I won't deny you, I'm a straight rider.
You don't wanna fuck with me. Get the
All Eyez on
police
Me
dumping
ended
at
up being
me.
a more aggressive and gangster album compared to those before it. A lot of people believe this was in large part due to the environment of death row. You can definitely tell that Tupac was energized, especially on Ambitions as a Writer.
Of course.
Tupac raps that he felt reincarnated after being incarcerated and joining death row. The song has been used as a walkout theme for Mike Tyson on multiple occasions. He was a friend of Tupac. There does happen to be an alternate version of the song called Ambitions as a Fighter. It was premiered before the album's release in December of 1995 when Mike Tyson fought Buster Mathis Jr. It has the same beat but different lyrics due to Tupac writing this specifically for Mike Tyson's entrance.
Fight to the death, busting bolts. Every boxer with a pair of gloves. Best give up love. Here's a man from the makings of a thug.
All About You is the next track on the album. It's produced by Johnny J and Tupac. The song came about via a conversation between Nate Dogg, Tupac, and Snoop. The convo happened to be about girls that they had seen at video shoots. Everywhere they went, they felt like they'd seen the same girls. Out of nowhere, Nate Dogg came up with the hook for the song. At first, Johnny J thought that Nate Dogg was not being serious with the hook, but Nate Dogg was dead serious.
Nah, that's how it always is with Nate Dogg. It don't sound like a serious hook, but the shit a bop though. It seem like he playing around on the hook. Like when is Nate Dogg not like, bro, if you listen to a lot of the hooks that Nate Dogg did, they sound like he was just playing around fiddling with the sound, trying to match the beat and stuff like that. But in actuality, that was the fucking hook the whole time. Like, he had it down just like that. Like, for example, fucking I won't deny it. I'm a straight rider. You don't want to fuck with me because you know I got my thing with me. Come on. That's something that you be thinking about. That's like a rough draft. But to Nate Dogg, nah, that's the hook right there. It worked though. I'm just saying. Then think about it. I got hoes. I got hoes in different area codes. That don't sound like a serious hook, bro.
Nate Dogg wanted the hook that we have today, and it came to fruition. It was Tupac's idea to sample the cameo song Candy for the track. He told Johnny J that he wanted that as the sample for the record, so it was done. Drew Down appears on the song, and according to him, Fatal and Yaki Gaddafi were originally supposed to be on the song in an interlude towards the end. According to Drew Down, they were too high and drunk when they got into the booth.
Damn.
It got to the point where Tupac told them to get out of the booth because they were playing around and waiting.
I mean, to be fair, thank God them niggas wasn't on this track. Because, man, this shit was perfect without them.
Wasting time. Scandalous is the next track on the album. It features Nate Dogg, and this is
one of the most smoothest tracks on this entire album, bro. One of the most smoothest tracks. I'll give a fuck what anybody say. That's the smoothest track on there, bro. I could listen to Scandalous many of times, bro. That shit just play. That's some player ass shit.
Is another record that Daz Dillinger produced. In an interview, Nate Dogg stated that the record was done in 10 minutes. The beat was already done. Got My Mind Made Up follows this, and it features Method Man, Redman, and the Dog Pound. Once again, Daz Dillinger produced the track. Originally, Inspector Deck of the Wu-Tang Clan was featured on the song.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I don't care for this song. I don't know why I get why people hype up this song. It's that East Coast boom bap rap. Me personally, I just don't like this shit, bro. It don't do it for me. I'm sorry, but every time I hear I got my mind made up, like, I skip it, bro. I just skip it. I don't care. I don't want to listen to no boom bap rap. Sorry, I don't.
At first, Got My Mind Made Up was not a Tupac song. It was originally a Dog Pound record that featured Method Man, Redman, The Lady of Rage, and Inspector Deck. The song was intended for their album Dog Food, but when Tupac got out, it went to him. He replaced The Lady of Rage's verse, and Deck ended up getting cut. Corrupt said that it wasn't personal, even though Deck had a really good verse. Daz Dillinger still kept Inspector Deck's background vocals, and you can still hear him at the very end of the official track before it fades. I heard somewhere that Tupac allegedly said, "I don't want to hear all that tight stuff, take that off." Another thing to note about the song is that according to Daz, the song altered the relationship between Dr. Dre and Tupac. This was because allegedly Dr. Dre was taking credit for the song even though Daz Dillinger produced it. When Tupac found out, he reportedly was not happy, and this started their feud. Once again, this is what Daz Dillinger said. How Do You Want It follows Got My Mind Made Up, and it was the third single released from the album. It features KC and JoJo while being produced by Johnny J. The song topped the Billboard Hot 100. As of 1996, the song is double platinum alongside California Love due to it being a double A-sided single. There is some hilarious backstory to the track. At first, Tupac tried to sing the hook of the song in a low baritone voice, but it wasn't cutting it. He did not like how it sounded with him singing, so Suge Knight called up Jodeci to do the hook instead. KC and JoJo of Jodeci stepped up to get on the song, and it turned into a certified hit. Some other info about the song is that in an interview, Dave Aaron, an engineer who worked on the album, said that Danny Boy also did a hook for the song that he mixed, but at the last minute, the decision was made to have KC and JoJo.
It was the right decision, bro. Shout out to Danny Boy, but that was the right decision.
Replace Him. 2 of America's Most Wanted follows the song and it features Snoop Dogg. It's another track that was produced by Daz Dillinger. The title of the track is significant because Tupac was out on bail for his case and Snoop Dogg was fighting a murder case during the making of the album. Snoop Dogg was acquitted of his charges just a week after the release of All Eyez on Me. Dave Aaron revealed in an interview that it was Suge Knight's idea for Snoop Dogg and Tupac to do a song together. Rick Clifford, another person who engineered for the album, said that Tupac was very adamant that the album was spontaneous. He pretty much wanted everything in one take because he felt that there's a certain feeling when you do something for the first time. I recently did a video about Snoop Dogg's debut album Doggy Style, and in that video I detailed how a majority of that album was done in one take. I think that Snoop Dogg having that ability really added to the chemistry they had, which led to this classic song. No More Pain comes after this. It's a song that was produced by Devontae Swing, who's mentioned numerous times by Tupac throughout the song. The hook of No More Pain takes inspiration from the Method Man song Bring the Pain.
I came to bring the pain, hardcore from the brain. Let's go inside my astral plane.
Bring the pain, hardcore for the brain. Just don't stop.
Hearts of Men is the 8th track on the album and it's produced by DJ Quick. In an interview about the album, DJ Quick explained how he got screwed out of a lot of credits for the album. He did a lot more than what he was credited for. He did a lot of mixing, remixing, and overdubbing. Quick made a lot of the records we know and love on this album sound a lot better than they did when they came into the studio. He said that in 2 days he remixed almost 12 songs. Hearts of Men was the only song that he produced himself that made it on the album. Life Goes On is next, and this is another track that was produced by Johnny J. When talking about the song, Johnny J said that Street Dudes were in the session breaking down in tears over how good the song is.
Damn.
It had that kind of impact on people. Though the song is deep and powerful, it's also very eerie. Pac raps about his own potential death, which as we know happened months after this album was released. Now it's time to talk about one of my favorite songs on the album, Only God Can Judge Me, which features Rappin' Forte.
I hear the doctor standing over me, screaming, I can make you got a body full of bullet holes laying here.
This, I'll say my top 5 songs from this album at the end, but this is definitely up there. This is definitely up there. For sure. Yeah. This definitely up there. I wouldn't say it's in the top 5 or top 3. It's like borderline top 5. I think I could do like the top 10 songs on this entire album. I can do it. I've listened to this album so many times. I think I got my top 10 down. And they saying it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here.
The song details how Pac was feeling after being shot. He raps about being stabbed in the back and what he was going through while in the hospital recovering from his injuries. Rappin' Forte has spoken about the song, saying that he and Pac were great friends, inseparable at that. They painted the town red so much to the point that Suge Knight put out a call to find them. To calm Suge Knight down, Tay and Tupac got into the studio to make what would become Only God Can Judge Me. Handwritten lyrics of the song do exist. Upon looking at the lyrics, it appears that Only God Can Judge Me was not the original name of the song. The titles Scared Man Can't Win and Knocking on Heaven's Door are scribbled out, which leaves Remember Me as the only title remaining. That also did not make the cut. Trading War Stories is another really personal song on the album. It features the Outlaws and was produced by Mike Mosley along with Rick Rock. The song came about through Tupac playing his album while Rick Rock and Mike Mosley walked into the room. After playing this album, Tupac wanted to make more music, but Mike and Rick were the only 2 producers there. Seeing an opportunity, Rick Rock loaded up what he had on him. The beat for Trading War Stories came on and Tupac asked who it was for. Rick said that it was for him, so Tupac immediately started writing. As the title of the song suggests, everyone in the song is telling their war stories from their times on the street. Napoleon of the Outlaws features on the song, and although his verse is short, it is probably the most personal on the song. In his verse, he raps about witnessing his parents get killed in front of him at the age of 3, which had a long-lasting effect on him. Just downright sad stuff right there. The remix to California Love is next, and the original was produced by Dr. Dre, while the remix was produced by Lele. The original version of California Love was just Dr. Dre with no Tupac on it. There have long been rumors that Dr. Dre did not want to give Tupac the song due to Dr. Dre wanting it for himself because he was working on his first project since the release of his debut album, The Chronic. Tommy D. Daughtry, another person who engineered for the album, stated in an interview that Dr. Dre was not a fan of Tupac coming to Death Row. Dr. Dre also left Death Row just a month after the release of All Eyez on Me. Aside from featuring on the remix to California Love, Dre only has one production credit on the album. While Dr. Dre wanted California Love to be a single with just him, it was Suge Knight who got Tupac on the song, and the rest is pretty much history. I Ain't Mad at Ya follows this song up. It features Danny Boy and is once again produced by Daz Dillinger. The song is Tupac rapping about past friends that he lost touch with. Aside from ambitions as a writer, Pac also recorded the song I Ain't Mad at Ya the same day he came home after being locked up. The next song is What's Your Phone Number, which features Danny Boy again. Johnny J and
This is probably the weakest song on this album. I wouldn't say the worst, because it's not a bad song. I wouldn't say there's like worse songs, like it's just straight ass. But like this song is probably the weakest on this album. This is like at the bottom for me as far as like the track list for this whole album goes. It's like the weakest song.
Tupac produced the track. According to Danny Boy, the phone convo at the end of the song with the girl is real. Danny Boy said that Tupac got calls like that all the time. Dave Aaron tells a different story, with him saying that a front desk lady at the studio came in and had that conversation with Tupac over the phone. The ending of What's Your Phone Number concludes the first disc of All Eyez on Me. It features George Clinton and Dr. Dre produced the track. In a verified annotation on Genius, George Clinton stated that he actually did the song for Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, but they needed a record for Tupac, so he won out. Rumor has it that this was another track that Dr. Dre wanted to use elsewhere. It's rumored that he wanted to use Can't See Me for his never-released joint album with Ice Cube called Helter Skelter. The Dog Pound recorded a version of the song in 1995 during the making of their debut album Dog Food, which came out that year. It never made the cut.
And a homie like Corrupt definitely got my back. And the GS talking up on the court and shit, it's all about that Dog Pound gangster clip.
Corrupt spoke about the song in an interview with The Art of Dialogue. Many people associated with Death Row have said the same thing as Corrupt regarding how Death Row did their projects. They focused on one project at a time. When Tupac joined the label, it was his turn to drop, so everybody contributed to his album. Can't See Me was one of the songs that got passed down to him. Simple as that. Shorty Wanna Be a Thug is next up. This is another track that was produced by Johnny J. He commented about the song, saying that it was a laid-back studio session when making it compared to other sessions during the making of the album. The concept of Shorty Wanna Be a Thug came about when Tupac started to think about the kids and what they were thinking. Johnny also commented that the song gave Napoleon a vibe of the song being about him, considering his rough upbringing. Rick Clifford tells a slightly different story in terms of who inspired the song. He said that Johnny J's son, who is nicknamed Short, was around the studio. Through Short's time in the studio, he picked up on a lot of bad habits of people who were in the studio. This then led to Tupac making the song Shorty Wanna Be a Thug. Holla at Me follows this up. This song featured Nancy Fletcher and was produced by Bobcat. There is a stripped down demo version of the song available on the internet. It shows how much work people did on the album by remixing and adding the tracks.
Once again, this would be one of the weaker songs on the album.
The The first verse of the song is seemingly directed at Tupac's once close friend, Stretch. He felt that Stretch betrayed him and helped set him up when Tupac got shot at Quad Studios. What makes the situation wilder is years later, Dexter Eyez self-confessed that he was one of the men involved in the shooting. He's currently serving life in prison for unrelated crimes involving murder, robbery, and other offenses. Dexter Eyez alleges that Jimmy Henchman paid Stretch $2,500 for setting up the attack. He further added that Stretch was giving the shooters play-by-play action. Jimmy also promised Stretch a quarter brick as well. By the time All Eyez on Me released, Stretch was already dead via a drive-by shooting in 1995.
Damn.
Many people believe that it was in retaliation for what happened at Quad Studios just a year earlier. The second verse is said to be about Biggie, who was there at Quad Studios during the incident. Pac accused Biggie of knowing about the attack beforehand and doing nothing to prevent it. The third verse of the song is directed towards Ayanna Jackson, whose accusations against Tupac got him locked up. In the song, Tupac told all these people to holler at him. Wonder Why They Call You B is the next song. It was produced by Johnny J.
Wonder why they call you bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch.
There is some controversy with this song due to the involvement of Faith Evans.
You wonder why they call you bitch. You wonder why they call you bitch. Betcha. You wonder why they call you bitch.
She was still legally married to Biggie during this time, and she was still legally married to Biggie when he passed away. The two had a on and off again relationship in large part due to Biggie's infidelity. There are all sorts of stories about how the original song was put together. According to Faith, she didn't know that Tupac was signed to Death Row, who was in the middle of the East Coast West Coast beef with Bad Boy Records, the label that her husband Biggie was signed to as well as her. She said that she didn't know Tupac was signed to Death Row until she went to the studio and saw people associated with the label. Faith felt uncomfortable in the studio but decided to go along with what was being asked of her. She did the song and alleges that when it was time to collect the $25,000 for her services, Tupac told Faith to meet him at his hotel room to collect. This then led to Tupac asking for head. It immediately hit Faith that this was all a plan. Now, like I said, this is Faith's version of the story. This story has been heavily disputed though. Just giving one example of a person who disputes her story is Danny Boy, who was signed to Death Row. He claims that Faith and Tupac had something going on. In interviews, he talks about knowing that Pac and Faith hooked up even though she denies it. Carlos Warwick, a mixer and engineer on the album, said that Faith and Tupac wrote the song together. Due to politics, Faith couldn't get clearance to be on the song, so she was replaced by Miss Chalet.
Like, let's be for real, bro. She know what she was doing, bro. She knew what she was doing, bro. Faith knew what she was doing. I don't care what nobody say. Tupac hit that, and she been trying to save face ever since. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. We all know. We all know you went up. You got up in that room with Tupac and you laid it down, both on the track and in the bed. Fuck you, be.
Bitch, shut the fuck up, lying ass bitch.
Enough of that though, as we move on to the following song, When We Ride. It features the Outlaws and is produced by DJ Pooh. This was the first track that featured the entire Outlaw Immortals. When We Ride was the introduction of all the members to the world, introducing their aliases that Tupac gave them while he was locked up. The song then fades into Thug Passion, which features members of the Outlaws alongside.
This is a good ass song, but you got to get the Outlaws fuck up out of here, bruh. You take the Outlaws on that song is perfect. I'm just saying though, that song is perfect if you take the Outlaws off that fucking song. And you got it going on, give me some of your Thug Passion. That shit fire, but the Outlaws though.
Hey dog, I hate to be the one to break it to you.
Very bad news.
Get this shit the fuck out of here and get you the fuck out of here.
Jewel. The track was produced by Johnny J and Tupac once again. When speaking about the song in an interview, Johnny J said that Tupac was really tipsy when he recorded the intro of the song. He also revealed plans for Tupac planning to come out with a drink presumably called Thug Passion. Due to his death, it never came to fruition, but this was sort of a theme song to it. Idi Amin, who is featured on the track, track, recalls the crew not really liking the track when they first heard it due to it having a poppy feel. Tupac then walked into the studio and didn't understand why everybody else did not like the beat for the record. Being inspired by his crew not liking the sound of the record, Tupac hit the booth and laid down his parts on the track. Once Jewel and Tupac came up with a hook, the members of the Outlaws saw the potential of the song. Picture Me Rollin' is up next, and it features Danny Boy.
Free like OJ all day.
It's another Johnny J produced track. The title of the track came from Johnny J's wife after
Picture
Tupac
me
was struggling to come up with
rollin'.
the title for the song.
Picture me rolling in my 500 bins. I got no love
Yeah.
for the friends that got me under spell.
The song Checkout Time is inspired by a true story. The song featured Corrupt, Big Syke, and Natasha Walker. The man Johnny J once again made the beat with Tupac. Johnny J says that the song is about a time the crew all went to Las Vegas. The crew had a
This low key an underrated song on this album. This an underrated song on this album. We gotta go. We gotta go. That's underrated shit. That's underrated. That's underrated, bruh.
ball in Las Vegas, but when it was time to check out, they could not find Daz Dillinger. Following Checkout Time comes one of my personal favorite songs on the album, which is Rather Be Ya. It features Richie Rich and was produced by Doug Rashid. When speaking about the song, Richie Rich said that Tupac called him because he wanted to get some Bay Area rappers on the album. While working on All Eyez on Me, Tupac approached Richie in the studio and expressed that he wanted to make a song about ladies when you want to be down for them but not be there.
Megan Thee Stallion ruined this song. That's all I'm gonna say. Megan Thee Stallion ruined this song. This used to be one of my personal favorites, but Megan Thee Stallion ruined this song.
Pac finished his verse within minutes while Richie was still writing. As soon as he got done, he spit his verse, which Pac loved.
And not GGA. Smoke weed all day.
We finally get to the title track of the album, which features Big Syke and is produced by Johnny J. It's the very first track that Johnny and Tupac made when Tupac went to death row. The two previously worked together on the songs Death Around the Corner for Me Against the World in 1995 and Pour Out a Little Liquor for the Above the Rim soundtrack in 1994. The song also appeared on the Thug Life album in 1994. When Tupac got out from being locked up, he hit up Johnny J and told him to get to the studio because he was down with death row now. Johnny J did not believe that it was actually Tupac calling him because he thought that Tupac was still locked up. Johnny J eventually made his way down to the studio. The first beat that he played was what went on to become the title track of the album, All Eyez on Me. At first, Johnny J was hesitant to show Tupac the beat because it was unfinished. When Tupac heard it, he instantly thought of the title of the song, which went on to become the title of the album. Run the Streets is one of the last tracks on the album. It features Napoleon, Storm, and Miss Chalet. Johnny J.
This is one of my personal favorites. It's right up there with Thug Passion. This right up there with Thug Passion. It's a personal favorite. Personal favorite.
And Tupac produced the track once again. The song is about a woman letting her man have freedom while he runs the streets. If he's allowed to run the streets, he'll love her better when he gets home. Now we're down to the last two tracks on the album, and the second to last one is Ain't Hard to Find. It features E40, Be Legit, C-Bo, D-Shot, and Richie Rich. Mike Mosley and Rick Rock produced the track. While speaking on the song, Rick Rock said that Tupac wanted a Bay Area sounding song on the album. While C-Bo represents Sacramento, which is not a part of the Bay Area, the rest of the features on the track are from the Bay. E40 is featured on the song, and when talking about the song, he says that when he writes raps, he lays on the floor on his stomach. When he laid on the floor, he pulled out two pistols and put them beside him. Tupac looked at him and put his guns down as well. He got down on the floor and started riding with E40. Tupac told E40 that he was prepared and riding with him, which meant a lot. The last song on the album is Heaven Ain't Hard to Find. It features Danny Boy and is produced by QD3. Allegedly, and definitely big on the allegedly, is that this song is about Left Eye from the group TLC. Tupac and Left Eye had an interesting relationship. Though there are rumors that the two were attracted to each other, it's been said by people close to the two that they both vowed to never sleep with each other because it would alter their friendship. What has been widely said is that the two never slept with each other. I really couldn't find anything directly linking her to the song besides what Genius said about the song Heaven Ain't Hard to Find. But just like that, we have completed the album. It's been a journey, but it was about time that I talked about one of the greatest albums of all time. It's very sad that Tupac died months after this album was released. All in all, let me know in the comment section below what you think of the album and what.
All right, man. So if I had to do, let me pull up track list real quick. Let me pull up the track list real quick. Let's see here. Let me pull up the track list real quick so that way I can go through everything. All right. So like my top 10. And this is just off the rip, like top 10. Like, okay, so we're going from 10 to 1. 10 to 1. At number 10, gonna have to be I just said it's a personal favorite, but top 10 gonna have to be it's gonna have to be Thug Passion at 10. Then Run the Streets at 9. Check Out Time at 8. Fucking only not that one. No More Pain had to be number 7. Then Only God Can Judge Me has to be like number 6. And then we get into the top 5. Top 5. Oh shit, it gets spooky at the top 5. Top 5 is gonna be all the banger hits. Like fucking number 5 gonna have to be America's Most Wanted. Number 4 is gonna have to be got to be Ambitious as a Rider. Number 3 is Scandalous. Number 2 is All About You. And then my number 1 favorite song on here that I play all day, every day is fucking How Do You Want It? That's my number 1. I can't help it, bro. That's my favorite song on this entire album. Is How Do You Want It? How Do You Want It? Because I gotta understand, bro. I was 2 years old when this album came out. So like sitting in my mama back car seat and shit like that, and she would put this shit on, or I was sitting in the back seat with my pops. This was my shit right here. I sung my heart out on this song. Every time this song came on, I can't help it, bro. This been a favorite for a long time. How does it feel? Coming up to the nigga in the country, living in the fast lane offering. How do you want it? Coming up to the nigga in the country, living in the fast lane offering.
Love the way you activate your hips and push your ass out. Got a nigga wanting it so bad I'm about to pass out. Wanna dig you, and I can't even lie about it, baby. Just alleviate your clothes, time to fly about it. Catch you at a club. Oh shit, you got me feeling body talk.
That's still my favorite track on here, though, for sure. But anywho, yeah, man, let's just go about do it for this one. Most definitely, man. This good video. A little long, but a good video. Still, you know, putting all that information out there. Good video though. Anyway, so I'll see y'all next one. Till then, this is